welcome to the After Hour on Social Catch-up. Since the show is already in, so there are tweets that I was going through, and I would love to hear your reaction on it. So the first tweet is, watch Crash Course on Prime and thank me later. How trash and fuck all can the system in India be?
Exactly. I mean, brilliant. That's exactly what we were going for.
Another one says, watching Crash Course on Prime Video, and I'm so glad I was never forced to be an engineering student.
ये प्रणय का ट्वीट तो नहीं है.
By any chance, any one of you is an engineering student?
Not me.
No, thank you.
But he's a CA. He's a CA aspirant.
Another one of it says, Crash Course on Prime Video is surprisingly amazing. Not Quota Factory level, but still great.
I disagree.
Yeah. Can't compare it. Can't compare it.
You can't. Why should you? I mean, now that it's out, everyone knows it's a completely different creature.
Yeah,
Show
exactly.
a different entity. I mean, it's unfair to both those shows to compare, actually. Even to Quota Factory. Because I'm sure I haven't seen it personally, but it's a great show with a great fan following. I think it's unfair to compare these two shows. They're great on their own merits, I think.
Actually, another one also says, Crash Course on Amazon Prime Video is just a bad version of Quota by TVS.
See, honestly, I will not be arrogant and say that, whatever is in our favor is right and, what is not in our favor is wrong. See, everyone has their opinions and everyone is absolutely entitled to their opinions, and I respect the audience's opinions. They saw the whole thing, and if that is what they felt, then Janta Janardhan Saranko we humbly accept.
Another one says, it's the perfect example of how education has become more of a business and no college or university care about student life and mental state of students. Prime Video in, and we all know how Indian education is deteriorated.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's what we've aimed through this show. I mean, so reality यही है, and मतलब लोगों को ऐसा नहीं कि पता नहीं है, पता है, समझ में आता है. So nothing new there.
There's actually one, I think that Pranay, you can relate. Just completed Crash Course first episode. Felt like a similar story of Quota Factory, where students are in Quota preparing for IIT in their respective institutes. Like Quota Factory, Jeetu Bhaiya Crash Course has its own AK sir as physics professor.
Yes, but it's a very different trajectory to my character, and I guess हम लोग यही बात करते आए that ऐसे professors और teachers होना बहुत जरूरी है to save the education system.
And also in reply to this tweet particularly, अभी उन्होंने पहले ही episode देखा है, पहले पूरा show देखो और फिर अपना इसके बारे में review दो.
Coming to my question, since I also watched the show, I'd actually like to start with Pranay. Since I agree that people find commonality because it's set up in Quota, and given it is about an engineering student and in Quota, so people find similarity with it. But did you ever felt, Pranay, that were you ever scared, or were you ever going for that people will compare it to Jeetu Bhaiya from Quota Factory? And how did you prepare for AK sir actually?
For AK sir, I had this deep discussion with Mr. Vijay Warrior, जो हमारे director हैं. So उनके साथ में I was basically discussing how to deal or how to showcase or portray this character and make him look quirky, interesting, and because he has his own ways and methods of teaching that separates him from the lot. So we were generally discussing how Robin Williams की दो films जो बहुत ही impactful रही हैं, एक Dead Poets Society and the other one is Good Will Hunting, where you see a human side of a teacher, especially in Good Will Hunting, and an amazing teacher in Dead Poets Society, John Keating's character. So that is where I basically started doing my not even research, but just trying to imbibe the core character, the core value of that character. कि वो character क्या breathe करता है, क्या सोचता है, and this character is just passionate, and I sort of in my head was very clear कि it's the passion for this teacher, for this professor towards his subject and his subjects, whether it's मतलब physics के towards हो या बच्चों को पढ़ाने के towards हो. He's passionate about teaching, he's passionate about physics, and that should exude when he's performing. So that was the aim, and उसके साथ हम आगे बढ़े. Of course, Vijay Maurya sir was very good in direction and guiding me कि ये हो सकता है, वो हो सकता है. So it's always a teamwork. other than that, no, मुझे कभी ऐसा कुछ obviously ये था in my head that you know characters को कभी ना कभी compare किया जाता है because वो same premise में है, कोटा फैक्ट्री हो या फिर क्रैश कोर्स हो, you know, but I guess the larger point or the bigger point here is that you know ऐसी कहानियां बताते रहना जरूरी है, सिर्फ एक प्रोजेक्ट से कहानी बताना खत्म नहीं हो जाता, because we should understand as an audience कि ये पूरी स्टोरी ये कह क्या रही है आपसे. कोटा फैक्ट्री कुछ लोगों ने देखा है, कुछ लोगों ने एस्पिरेंट्स देखा है, कुछ लोगों ने कुछ और देखा है. क्रैश कोर्स इज आल्सो catering to a lot of different section of audience, and honestly no, I wasn't scared to or very you know in my head thinking कि अरे मुझे compare किया जाएगा जीतू भैया से and all of that, because this is my own version, you know, this is my rendition, this is my tribute to my teachers, and so you're all actors. कोई एक एक्टर अलग चीज करता है, मैंने अलग चीज करी, कोई और एक्टर होता वो बहुत अलग चीज करता. तो आई फील कि यू नो, और मैं ऑनेस्टली बताऊं आपको, जीतू भैया हो या फिर एके सर हो, ये हर इंस्टीट्यूट में आपको कहीं ना कहीं मिलेंगे इन डिफरेंट शेप्स एंड साइजेस, यू नो, हर स्कूल में मिलेंगे, कोई ना कोई एक दो ऐसा टीचर मिलेगा. एंड इट्स ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि ऐसे कैरेक्टर्स को रिकग्निशन मिले या ऐसे लोगों को रियल लाइफ में रिकग्निशन मिले, you know, because in your formative years having the right idols is very necessary. So that's what I have to say.
I loved your performance in Guilty Minds as well.
Hey, thank you so much. So sweet.
Shashank, coming to you. Sorry, Bhanu.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, in character.
So Shashank, from what I get, is more of a person, I would say is, you know, he's a product of the system that he is in, rather than, you know, negative role or something like that. So how do you, I mean, as an actor, how do you separate your politics from the character, knowing that this character could be very much real in life?
You know, honestly, I never, like you said, he's not a negative character. Anyways, whenever I read a part, I don't look at it as positive or negative. In fact, the more gray it is, the more excited I become. Because that there is just more meat for an actor to play with, you know. And it's only once the performance is out, once the reactions come in, do I even hear whether it's positive, whether it's negative. Because for me, I always try to create a human being. And all human beings are grey. We all try to present ourselves as heroes, but we're all grey, essentially. So I get very excited when there is a difference between the public face of a character and what he really is. I get very excited. So when I read this part, I was just very, very excited. And see, there is the farther away a part is from me, the more fun I have. I have absolutely no issues ever in, oh, is this part like me, or how do I separate myself from the part? See, this is acting is a craft, right? It's like if a carpenter makes a chair, he is not worried about how will I separate myself from the chair. The chair is separate and the carpenter is separate. So I'm very clear on that. So I'm very excited to go into really dark places as an actor, because I know that is not what I am, but that is what I love to explore. So no, there is no fear ever, you know, my politics and the character's politics. Never. I just don't operate like that.
There was a particular scene that I really remember where, you know, you finally break down after your father has, you know, discarded you, or, you know, he says something to you, and you're sitting on the sofa and you're crying and slapping yourself and something. How do you prepare for such intense scene?
You can't prepare. Honestly, and I would love to toot my own horn here and talk about what a great actor I am and how I prepared for such scenes. But honestly, in such scenes, Vijay Bhai was very sensitive. He's a great actor himself. He just set up the environment in such a way. You go in there, you pray to Mata that she comes and she helps you. And I believe that if you're humble enough, if you're open enough, she comes and magic happens. And she lets you take the credit. I mean, it would be very easy for me right now to sit here and, you know, wax eloquent about my performance. But honestly, it is just, you live for those moments in acting. You live that Mata comes and something happens and you are so happy that you weren't there. You were out of the way. She was able to come. But one thing I do definitely like to point out about that scene is, you know, in such scenes, that is one take. That is my take. There was no preparation. There was no rehearsal. What happens is that the technical team, I don't know if the audience understands how the camera works. There is focus. If you don't hit a particular mark, you're out of focus. The camera has to capture you. You don't know what you're going to do. So the cameraman does not know. He does not know how to light you. So nobody really knows what is going to happen. So after we finished, I thought that we were going to have to do it again because I wasn't sure if it would be captured because, nobody knew I was going to do this. So, but as soon as we finished, Vijay bhai said, you go out, go alone. He sent me out onto the terrace. So I thought, obviously, it's not captured. So he wants me to prepare and, be ready to do it again. And he came back outside and he said, are you okay? I said, yeah. Let's go. He said, no. We're not going to do it again. We're definitely not doing it again. That magic will not happen again. And, honestly, I actually broke down again. Because it is very rare for such sensitivity in directors. Otherwise, the director would say, "Arey, 10 बार करो." Okay, तुम्हारा काम है ना, actor हो. But Vijay bhai is such a sensitive actor, such a sensitive director that he understood. And on top of that, my team actually did a faux pas. When you make your hair and all, so you keep those tissues in the collar so that the color from the hair does not fall on the collar. So because probably I was in the zone or probably my hair guy was a bit intimidated or whatever, he forgot to remove those things from my collar. And once the take was finished, they realized that this has happened. Vijay bhai said, I will not reshoot this scene. I will remove every that tissue from the frame by frame. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just so privileged to be working with this team who respect performance and actors so much. That was, I'm really happy that you brought up that moment because that is truly a tribute to Vijay bhai and his team.
The background score really plays in the show, and I was reading somewhere that all the time music was playing on the set.
See, Pranay, you want to take that, bro?
I mean, it really helps with the vibe. So, Vijay sir has very different methods and very creative methods where he lets you flow. And his idea is कि हम अगर सब same energy में flow करेंगे तो फिर वो एक magic create होता है. तो बच्चों के लिए स्पेशली काफी यूज किया गया था टू गेट देम इनटू द जोन एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. लेकिन हाँ, मुझे तो मतलब द साउंड ट्रैक्स आर सो ब्यूटीफुल इन द शो, वेदर इट्स द लास्ट सॉन्ग विद जो होप सॉन्ग है, वो भी जस्ट आई कांट बिलीव कि मतलब Vijay sir is so talented. यार कैसे करते हो? I have no idea. But right from writing to direction to acting, he's just too good. So I guess जो भी वो करते थे कराते थे, हम लोग बस follow करते थे because I had my full trust and faith in him.
Sakshi, one common theme which you'll hear from all actors involved in this show is that we are also grateful to be in Vijay bhai's and Manish sir's hands. Because, I've been in situations where all actors give their best. But, this time what has happened is the show is just tremendous. You know what I'm saying? So everyone is enhanced, and that is only credit to Manish sir and Vijay bhai. We're very happy, blessed to be working.
Actually, it's great because there's so many themes in the show, all running parallel.
Yes.
So have you guys watched the show?
Yeah, of course.
So I have a question. It's like there are a lot of young bunch who are debuting in the show as well. So whose work were you really surprised by, and whose arc did you really like?
Wow. Actually, to be very honest, I was impressed by each and every one of them because it's so difficult to do what they did. Because when I was at that age, मुझे नहीं पता कि इतनी maturity आपकी performance में कहाँ से आ गई, और इन बच्चों की सारे एक कैरेक्टर, एक एक्टर ने इतना ऑनेस्ट काम किया है that whether it's Sidhu, whether it's Anil, whether it's Anvesha, Riddhi, all of these kids, they've brought in some interesting nuances, some interesting character arcs, and it's even Bhavesh for that matter, he keeps dancing in the show, kabhi ye, kabhi wo, मतलब क्या characters create करे इन सबने, and कहीं भी मुझे देख के ऐसे लगा ही नहीं कि ये post है या कुछ सोचा जा रहा है या फिर कुछ दिखाया जा रहा है. It was so natural. So I guess किसी एक का नाम ले ही नहीं सकते because it's such a teamwork at the end of the day that you feed off each other's energy, and they have killed it. All of them have killed it. So like very very proud and really happy that these guys were able to pull off such an amazing performance.
Is it the same for you, Bhanu, as well?
See, honestly, you will probably think we're being politically correct, but no, we're. See, the point is, see, you've seen the show.
Yeah.
The caliber of the director and the makers of the show is decided when all performances are at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? That means that someone in charge knows what they are doing. You know?
Yeah.
In this show, I dare anyone. See, anyone can be a critic in that sense and say what they feel. But if you are genuinely interested in acting and performance and our work, I dare you to point out a single bad performance in this show. It is impossible. You might have favorites. See, that's always there. You relate to a certain character more. All that is there. But an actor who has not done a great job in this show will not be found. And that is, again, complete credit to Vijay Bhai and Manish sir. Manish sir's writing. See, I was just thinking, no actor can do anything if it's not on the page. You know, the character has to be created on the page. That is what Manish sir and Raina did with their beautiful writing. And on top of that, Vijay Bhai came in and he just took it off.
Right.
He took it off to another level. So everyone, I think, I love every single performance in this show. Genuinely.
Yeah, I even love the Panthers as well.
Yeah, see, yeah, even they were really good.
Okay, so the way the show has ended, there's definitely going to be a second season.
Jai Mata Di. Thank you.
Fingers crossed, touch wood.
What do you really think is going to happen in the second season?
Take it away, Pranay.
यार मुझे पता होता तो मैं राइटर ही बन
The writer, he might give some ideas also.
We'll see more of AK sir. Shashank is already plotting.
I think that bit is definitely going to be explosive because right now I'm as clueless as everyone is, after watching the show ki season 2 mein kya hoga. But in my head, in my opinion, I feel now because the last episode is called The End and the Beginning. So that beginning is very interesting for me because I feel ab kuch explosive definitely hoga because Shashank and Ratan Jindal getting on a call and what are they talking about? It's very interesting that they might be coming up with something, and it's permutation, combination, and two good versus evil or different ideas versus different ideas. So it's going to be very interesting. कि अब ये कहानी यहाँ से कहाँ जाती है and और कितने students हैं या क्या होगा या कैसे होगा. To be honest, I have no idea where the story will go, but I think that's what I like about it, that it's still leaving me extremely curious and I don't know where this is going to go. I'm honestly as clueless, but very excited to know what will happen.
I completely agree, because see, it's exciting for us as actors also. Yeah. Can you imagine what it must be for the audience? Because I am genuinely excited to see, because for me, in a way, Shashank's character arc sort of finished for me as an actor, where it did. But now I don't even know what's going to happen. I don't know who he's going to become, I don't know. It's very, very exciting, and I'm really... first of all, if God willing, a second season comes, so let's not count our chickens before they hatch. But if at all Mata does that for us, I'm very excited to read what Manish sir has in plan for us. I'm genuinely excited.
There are so many tricks and antics that you see in the hostel. I particularly remember that coin one that they put the coin in the bulb and the bulb blows up. Do you remember doing something like that in your hostel days or in your college days? Have you done something like that?
मैं तो बहुत ही सीधा बच्चा था. मैं तो मैं हॉस्टल में रहा नहीं हूँ तो मुझे कभी जरूरत नहीं पड़ी इसको करने की. But definitely, have I sneaked out of my house at night? Yes. Have I been caught by my parents doing that? Yes. तो ऐसी बहुत सारी चीजें नटखट शरारती चीजें तो करी हैं. वैसे I think मैं काफी सीधा था तो मैं इन सब चीजों में उतना indulge नहीं करता था.
Same for you?
I have been in hostels a lot in college and then in drama school. So yeah, I know hostel life, but the only thing I actually remember is like getting drunk. Nothing much. It was just long drunken weekends. That's mostly the fun I remember from college. So no such tricks because we are probably too drunk to do anything. But yeah, college is a fun time, yeah. I mean, if we start thinking about it, I'm sure we'll come up with stuff. Yeah, it was fun. College was great fun.
Coming to a sensitive topic, you know, the show looms largely on suicide. Every time a kid is going through something, it verges on that maybe this person would do something to themselves. Since the topic is very sensitive and, like the show also says, you can't blame one person for it. It's the whole system to be blamed at. What are your thoughts, or what you can say to prevent, or say to these kids so that they don't take that step further?
See, the point of good art, sensitive art, is just to point the mirror at society. All we can do is that bring this up in an entertaining way, so that first of all you watch it, you don't feel that you are being preached to. But once you finish watching anyone, the students, the teachers, the parents, they have a conversation, maybe amongst themselves or maybe with themselves. That if a parent watches, that they should probably have this conversation. Am I putting my child through this? And if a child watches, then they should see that this might be the road I'm leading down to, and the teachers, the owners of everyone. I think the biggest takeaway from this show should be, let's have some honest conversations. Because it's become almost a cliche now to read about children killing themselves because they didn't pass the exam. I mean, and you read it and you're like, oh, how sad, so much pressure. We have these 2 lines and then everyone moves on with their lives. And then next year, the same thing happens. I think it's high time that we have some serious conversations about this, because this cannot go on. I have children now. It completely changes your perspective. In fact, because of these things, I haven't put my children in conventional education. They follow a Waldorf Steiner education where there are no exams for a long time. So, but that's me. This has to happen on a mass level. We have to have these difficult conversations, and things have to change.
Same for you, AK sir.
Just, a while back when I said that it's very important कि ये कहानियाँ बताती रहनी चाहिए, because the more you talk about it, the more people understand and get an idea. Because यही जरा है, जैसे Bhanu sir just said that कि the idea of creating cinema or art or everything is even such shows is to get this message across, in an entertaining way. And human psyche is such कि आप कोई serious बात आदमी को serious तरीके से बताओगे तो उसको नहीं समझ में आता. You have to use satire, you have to use comedy, you have to use dark comedy or whatever, to get through the message that we're trying to portray. And ऐसी कहानियां, like I said, बनना जरूरी है, because ये conversation start करती हैं और करती रहती हैं. So we need quota factories, we need crash course, we need aspirants, we need Tare Zameen Par kind of films that start a topic. Because if you notice, 15 साल पहले तक, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was not much discussion about mental health awareness or mental health. And 15 years later now, everybody seems to understand the taboo around it and why people don't come out and talk about it. But still, we're at a better understanding in our society that, okay, mental health is actually very important, and there should be stuff on it and people should read about it. And if someone comes up to you related to a mental health problem, you should give it importance and try and understand that लोग अगर कोई डिप्रेशन के बारे में बात कर रहा है या फिर कोई प्रेशर के बारे में बात कर रहा है, तो ऐसे उसको हवा में नहीं लेना चाहिए. You should sit down and talk to that human, because remove the fact कि वो लड़का, लड़की, बूढ़ा, young क्या है, it doesn't matter. It can happen to anyone at any age, and sometimes there are no reasons for it. So I'm glad, in fact, that we've reached a stage where we're doing and we're coming out with such projects that start conversations related to suicides, education system, work pressure, and everything. Because honestly, that's why I think acting or filmmaking is such a noble pursuit as a profession. कि आप एक फिल्म या एक सीरीज के थ्रू कितने माइंडसेट्स अपनी सोसाइटी में बदल सकते हैं. अगर ये क्रैश कोर्स देख के 10 फैमिलीज डिसाइड करती हैं कि देख बेटा इतना प्रेशर नहीं लेना, अगर होता है तो ठीक है, नहीं होता तो इट्स ओके. ट्रस्ट मी, दैट्स अ ह्यूज विन फॉर अस. More than audience saying something, more than the reviews it's getting or the views it's getting, it's actually the amount about effect it is having on people's mind and in society and parents and kids and everything. And understand that, listen, do not get into this rat race. Do your thing. If you think it works for you, great. If it doesn't, it's all right. हर आदमी हर चीज नहीं कर सकता, and ऐसा होना चाहिए. Because there are so many avenues, so many things now, so many opportunities. So I feel like people should take it easy, and like I said, there should be more crash courses and there should be more stories relating about this topic. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bhanu sir, would you like to take over?
So we shall catch up, and please watch Crash Course on Amazon Prime Video.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Pleasure talking to you.